You've probably gone back and forth on this question more times than you can count. Is she a narcissist? Or is she just emotionally immature? You read something that sounds exactly like her, and then you read something else and you're not sure. And meanwhile, underneath that question, there's another one that's harder to say out loud, which is, why does it still hurt this much? Why, as a full-grown adult, does my relationship with my mother still feel like something is missing that I can't ever quite get to? This video is for that question, the one underneath. Here's why the question is so hard to answer. Both types of mothers can produce the same experience in you. In both situations, you often end up as the one who bends, the one who explains, apologizes, overfunctions, and manages the emotional temperature of the room just to keep the peace. Both can be intensely self-focused. Both can leave you feeling like your inner world simply doesn't register as real or important. And both can create that particular, quiet ache of, I have a mother, and somehow I still don't really have a mother. With an emotionally immature mother, what you tend to see is someone who gets overwhelmed easily and shuts down or explodes when emotions run high. Someone who genuinely struggles to take in feedback without becoming defensive or hurt. Someone who actually believes in her own mind that she is a good mother and cannot fully grasp the emotional impact her behavior has on you. The damage is real. The awareness often isn't. With a narcissistic mother, the pattern looks similar from the outside, but the mechanism underneath is different. Everything revolves more consistently around her image, her needs, and how she is being perceived by others. Remorse tends to be shallow or strategic. Apologies, if they happen at all, tend to circle back to her being the real victim in the situation. And your feelings aren't just minimized. They can be mocked, turned against you, or used as leverage. The clearest distinction is this: an emotionally immature mother is limited. Her emotional toolkit is genuinely underdeveloped, usually because of her own unprocessed history. And she often lacks the self-awareness to see the full scope of what she's doing. A narcissistic mother tends to operate with more of a relational agenda. There is a pattern of protecting her image, maintaining control, and using the people around her in ways that serve her own needs. Psychologist Lindsay Gibson, who has written extensively on emotionally immature parents, describes the emotionally immature parent as someone who cannot access the depth of emotional connection that real relationships require. A narcissistic parent often can access that depth, but directs it almost entirely toward herself. The labels can be useful. They can help you stop wondering if you imagine things. But here's what matters more than the label. What did growing up this way do to you? Because that's where your healing actually lives. And that part, the cost of it, is the same whether she fits one category or both. There's a phrase that keeps coming up when people talk about this experience, and it's hard to say out loud because it sounds ungrateful if you don't understand it. The phrase is, I have a mother, but I don't have a mother. What that means is this: you have someone who technically fills the role. She's alive. You may even talk to her. But you didn't grow up with a steady, reliable place to bring your feelings, your fears, your joy, and be met with real warmth and curiosity. You didn't have someone who could hold the full weight of you and respond to it with care. That absence, even when the person is physically present, is its own kind of grief. You might notice it when you see a mother and daughter laughing together in a public place, or hugging in a way that looks easy and safe, and something in your chest tightens. Maybe your eyes sting and you have to look away, because it touches something raw. Scenes like that can feel almost surreal, like watching something from a life you were adjacent to, but never fully inside. A part of you knows what it was supposed to feel like, and another part has spent a long time trying not to think about the gap between that and what it actually was. Researchers studying emotional neglect and emotionally immature parenting describe this as a specific kind of attachment wound. When a child's emotional world is chronically unrecognized or unmet by the primary caregiver, the child doesn't just miss out on comfort. They internalize the absence. They begin to believe on a deep level that their inner world is not worth responding to. You didn't make that up. Your nervous system learned something real. One of the most common things people describe after this kind of childhood is a persistent feeling of being alone on the inside, even when their outer life is full. You might be in a relationship. You might have friends, a career, people who love you, and still feel this quiet, unexplainable aloneness underneath all of it. Like there's a part of you that has never quite been reached. People often see you as the strong one, the capable one, the one everyone goes to, but you rarely feel held in the way you needed as a child. You share parts of yourself, but the deepest part, the part that is still in some ways a child who never really had a mother, often stays hidden, even from people who are close to you. Research on emotional neglect shows that when a child's feelings are consistently not recognized or responded to, they can grow into adults who feel fundamentally unseen, even in the middle of their own lives. The loneliness doesn't come from the people around you. It was built in before you had any say in it. You might also recognize this, a very strong, I'll handle it myself approach to life, paired with a deep, almost wordless longing that almost never gets spoken out loud. The independence came first. You learned early that relying on your mother emotionally either didn't work or backfired. You were ignored, minimized, or it somehow became about her. So your system did what it was designed to do. It adapted. You became the one who copes, the one who manages, the one who figures it out without asking for help because asking felt like setting yourself up to be disappointed again. Studies on parentification and emotionally immature caregiving show that children who take on adult emotional roles too early often grow into highly capable adults who genuinely struggle to trust others enough to lean on them, even while quietly craving exactly that. So you might swing between, I'm fine, I don't need anyone, and a bone-deep longing to be able to fall apart in someone's arms and not have to manage it. A longing to be the child in the room just once, instead of the one holding everything together. Your nervous system doesn't fully know how to have closeness and feel safe at the same time, because those two things were never reliably paired for you. And then there's the voice in your head, the one that is almost never kind. Even when other people tell you that you're capable or good, or that you're doing well, there's a voice that says, if they really knew, they'd see that you're not enough. That's imposter syndrome, and in this context, it has a very specific origin. If your mother was emotionally immature or narcissistic, you likely grew up with a steady current of criticism, comparison, or emotional dismissal. Comments about your weight, your sensitivity, your choices, your performance, often framed as love, or honesty, or concern. But your nervous system didn't file them under feedback. It filed them under truth. Research on emotional maltreatment and psychological outcomes consistently links chronic criticism and invalidation from caregivers to core beliefs like, I am not good enough, my feelings are wrong, I have to earn my place. Those beliefs don't stay in childhood. They come with you. What's worth recognizing is that you no longer need her in the room to keep the pattern going. Your inner critic took over the job. You may catch yourself doing to yourself exactly what she once did to you, dismissing your own pain, minimizing your own achievements, telling yourself to stop being dramatic when you are genuinely hurting. She handed you that voice. You didn't build it, and that means it can be examined, and it can change. You came to this video asking whether your mother is a narcissist or emotionally immature. And the honest answer is, she might be one or the other, or somewhere in between, and a therapist who knows her history would be better equipped to say. What I can tell you is that the grief underneath that question is real. The loneliness is real. The voice in your head that sounds like her is real. And the ways this shaped you, your independence, your longing, your loneliness, your inner critic, those are real responses to a real wound. Naming all of that is not about blaming her forever or making her into a villain. It's about finally seeing clearly what you've been carrying, so you can decide what to keep carrying and what you're ready to set down. Tell me in the comments, which part of this video hit closest to home? Was it the loneliness, The hyper-independence, the inner critic? Your answer might be the thing that helps someone else put words to something they've felt for years. Just a reminder, everything I share here is for educational purposes. It's not a substitute for working with a therapist or a mental health professional. This is Childhood Decoded. I'll see you in the next one.